gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be at, whatever you got going on. We thank you for being right here with us. Shout outs to everybody on the East Coast. Shout outs to everybody down south, everybody up north, in between the scene in the Midwest, and right here on the West Coast where we at. And shout outs to everybody in any and every other country, because we know these audios and visuals go across the world. You know what I'm saying? Passport looking quite official. Stamp it up, stamp it up. We got a show here today. I mean, before I even get into it, let me take my glasses off. You know what I'm saying? I didn't put my hair up in a bun. You know what I'm saying? We looking right and proper. I got to get it right. I've been blushing since she done walked into the room. So you already know what it do. You ain't never seen my cheeks as high as they is right now. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But we got to figure it out. Gorgeous actress, also a social worker. Very, 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 very inklings of militantness to her as well. Did I just make up a word? I surely hope okay. So. I like making up words. That's just what I do. That's what I do. But hey, the title of today's show is Coffee with Kassy. Coffee with Kassy. So you know what I'm saying? Get your cups, get all your sugars, get all your creamers, get everything situated and whatnot, and go ahead and grab a seat and get ready for the rest of the show. It's the Patio PolitiCz. You already know.
We hope you stay a while, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, yeah. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. I said it's right for life. Come in with the shows that you like. We trying to be the best on the mic. DJ playing cuts that you like, yeah. It could be the start of your day, or maybe just the end of your night. But if you rock it with us, Patio PolitiCz is gonna do you right. Oh, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. Yeah. We got whatever you like. Whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah. Cause it's right for life. Oh. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Ooh. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah. We hope you stay a while.
Man, when I tell y'all that my heart is racing right now, she didn't took my glasses.
I just want to look official.
You know what I'm saying? Just want to look. You already are official. You know what I'm saying? You can keep them. Go ahead, keep them. You know what I'm saying? If that's how we rolling, then that's how we rolling. You know what I'm saying? I can rock with it. But y'all hear me talking to her, you know what I'm saying? So I got to go ahead and bring her in here, because I just got to be fine with this. Like, I'm just got to be fine with this. I'm going to be blushing for the next hour, you guys. So you about to see all my teeth like you ain't never seen them ever before. But without further adu, I've had the pleasure of working with her, alongside her, and she is quite the angelic spirit in the patio, on the patio, here at the patio. I bring to you KaSandre Kirby.
Thank you. With the sultry music.
Oh yeah. Had to get it all the way right, all the way proper for you. How you feeling today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. As I like to say, blessed, black, and highly favored.
Indeed you are. This is going to be a problem for me. This is probably going to be like the most problematic episode that I've ever done. If I carry the rest of the episode just looking over here, don't mind me, because I'm still looking at you.
I cannot.
I'm still looking at you. I'm just trying to control the color of my shirt from spreading to the my cheeks.
Well, you have to stop so I can stop cheesing.
It's not possible. We're going to have to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We got a certain series of questions that we like to ask our guests when they come around here. You know what I'm saying? Call it the trifecta, the triple P's, if I shall indeed. Like to know what your purpose is, what your pleasures in life are, and what is your passion?
Purpose is to be light wherever I go. I know that for a fact. I'm called to be the light. So I show up as I am. I know that I'm leaving a sprinkle of something positive in every room I touch. Passion.
Yeah.
I am passionate about connecting with people.
Okay.
I really am. I love to hear people's stories. I believe no matter where you come from, you have a story to tell. Part why that connects with the career path I took, social work. because there's value in every human, you know, and I feel like taking the time to hear people's stories is really valuable. And it doesn't have to be on this grand scale, right? Like a lot of times, you don't have to feel important by being in the spotlight, but just sitting with someone one-on-one, no one ever knowing, like that interaction can be so impactful. So my passion is connecting with people. I love to travel too. So just whenever I go somewhere, I'm always about being in a place that's not necessarily where tourists are, but, you know, staying off the beaten path and just kind of connecting with real people. Mm-hmm. And then what was the last P? Pleasure. Comedy. Probably not like where you were going, where you thought I would go, but
I mean, hey, I'm open.
Anything comedic, because part of my light is my comedy. Yeah. And so I just like being in a place where things are funny, where things are light. Mm-hmm. Like my passion is being around funny things, or it fuels me.
Do you like to laugh or make people laugh?
I love to laugh, and I like to make people laugh. Like something you were just saying before we started, it's not intentional for you. Yeah. Oh, it's very intentional for me. Yeah. Like, I try to make people
It's
laugh.
like, you get up in the morning, it's just like, who am I going to make laugh?
Yeah, that's part of a good day. Yeah. It's like when I see a baby, I have to, when I see a baby, I have to make a baby laugh. Like, my mission is not fulfilled. If I make eye contact with a baby and they don't laugh,
if they don't give you that.
Right. Like, then it wasn't a good interaction.
It's like, so, I need to re-interact with that baby. Bring that baby back.
Right. That sounds weird, but bring the baby back.
Bring that baby here, boy.
Yeah.
Naturalness. Well, you definitely bring light. I mean, I've already attested to that. Like, here I am taking my look away break as I'm not looking away. But definitely bring light to the situation. Why is that? Like, how you said you know.
Oh yeah.
Why?
An assignment my therapist gave me some years ago was to ask people what they see in me. And a lot of times we don't. You know, the people closest to us know us, obviously, our highs and lows. Yeah. And as I was just trying to reconnect with who I am after feeling like I had lost myself for a while, on my birthday, friends gifted me words of encouragement, things to describe me, things that they believe I've poured into them. Mm-hmm. And the common thread I saw, or that I read from my friends, whether they sent an email, a physical card, or a text message, was that I bring such a lightness and positivity to them. So I like to call myself an extreme optimist because I'm never glass half full. I always believe like there's a purpose even in our pain. I just heard this phrase on a podcast driving over, and it was, at the end of every storm there's a rainbow, right? Yeah. And so it gives everything purpose. And so I feel like the common thread I saw my friends, the wording they use is really like this lightness I bring, this joy, and making light of every situation, not to minimize the pain of something, but I can find the funny in it. I can turn it into something positive. And so over the past 4 or 5 years, I've really tried to connect with who I am, what my purpose is, and I see myself being that now. It's like once people put the spotlight on it, now I just show up and I'm like, oh, I'm meant to be here. Mm-hmm. I was meant to stop at this Trader Joe's and not the one I normally go to. Yeah. And a recent Trader Joe's interaction, I wound up talking with this woman in the parking lot. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this was not, like, nothing is coincidence, right? Yeah. So it's like, I know that now. When you own it, exactly. When you own your purpose and what you're supposed to do, you show up in every room being that. And it's not weird anymore. It's just like, oh, yeah, it's comfortable. So I'm like, I'm not going to be nervous because we're supposed to do this right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, you told me that you were.
I get nervous. I said, you don't make me nervous. Okay. I think you think you make me nervous.
No. I would hope that I don't make you nervous. I don't think I've ever went into a scenario like, I wonder if I'm making her nervous or not. Like, so many avenues that I go down before I even get to the person in question. Is just like, we can make sure we check everything out before we get there. But I
like people to feel comfortable too.
Yeah, definitely. You're great company. You're great company. So much to get into. Where do I really want to start?
I have no idea.
With your humor. As light as you are, do you have any dark humor?
I mean, like the morbid things you're laughing at you're not supposed to.
Yeah. Of course. That soft chuckle is just like,
Yeah, it's like the stuff you see on Instagram, and at the end it's just like, okay, you're going to hell because you laughed at all of this.
Yeah. But they had like the little videos where they got the little Jesus in the back and they following you. You just try to keep a straight face, like.
Yeah.
No, I'm laughing.
I
every
even
time.
think I'm made in God's image, right? Mm-hmm. I'm goofy.
He's funny. He's
I think
hilarious.
some of the funniest things happen in my private time where only God sees, and I'm like, you made me trip because you just needed something lighthearted real quick because the world is heavy.
He is hilarious.
Hilarious.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, they be like, oh, you need Jesus. I'm like, no, I got him. I got him. I played him in a.
You're welcome.
I played him in a play, and he stayed with me. He was there beforehand, and he's here even now. Like, he's here. Don't trip. He's got a sense of humor. He made me. I tell people all the time, if you thought about it, somebody else has 10 times over. If you did it, somebody else probably has 10 times over, just haven't got the recognition or whatever it is. Like, it's not a first time happening. So it's like the maker knows what's up. Most High knows what he has created, what he's placed here. Like, yeah, that man, we are his television, I guess.
That's funny. I never thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah. I just be like,
we're entertaining.
I'd be like, what you want on your episode today, Lord? What you got for me? What you? I got you. Forsaking me later. Yeah. With you being so light, I know what I want to touch on now. With you being so light, it was a surprise to learn and to find out that, I'll just ask like this. The Black Panther Party. What does that mean to you, first of all? And then what is your association with it?
When I immediately think of the Black Panther Party, I think of resilience and strength in the Black community, and what we could be, again, if we can get back to that place of just having a focus, right, and not so much competition. I think that's where the division has been in our community, just our personal greed and selfishness, which wasn't as much of a priority when the Black Panthers existed, right? We saw more of a need for each other, and so my connection to it is learning later in life that before my dad transitioned, learning that when he was in high school, he joined the Black Panthers, the chapter that was in Compton. And he told me he joined because he just wanted to have a gun. But at the same time, he was a kid, so it makes sense, but not knowing the impact that would have on him. So, later on in life, knowing that he was able to be a part of such a revolution and then embrace that later, that although he was only in high school at the time, under 18, so no, they didn't give him a weapon. Yeah. He was a part of something great that he didn't even realize he was a part of. And so I get the honor of saying, like, my dad was a part of that. And so although I've never been directly associated with the organization, I have that lineage or that piece to say that, like, I'm really proud of. Like, I've never marched with them, but, watching movies now, it's like I feel like, like
any type of affiliation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It feels amazing. I wear this one jacket that has the Black Panther on it, and it's also just one of my connections with my dad because he still is just a part of me. So whenever I get to talk about it, it reminds me of him. It's also just a direct connection and positive memory of my dad. But yeah, I'm super pro-Black, and that doesn't mean I'm not pro-everyone, let's be clear. You can,
and it's crazy that has to be said in this day and age, but it's just like, let me make it clear.
Because I am about, like, loving all people, right? And so I don't want anyone to ever feel shaded or, that I don't care because I promote Black heavy. I hashtag Black own. I support Black businesses as much as possible, and I'm all about supporting Black people. It doesn't always just mean with your dollars, but just support, showing up, encouraging. And so the Black Panthers were about that. So I'm like, that, I'm grateful I have a connection to it.
Yeah. Do you ever, when people find out about it, do they ever, like, give you, like, major excitement over it? Or, like, what's everybody's usual, like, reaction to finding out that?
Honestly, I don't talk about it.
Okay.
Like, I was surprised it came up. I know I shared it with you all before, but, and maybe I should embrace that more and talk about it. It's not something that was, like, heavily discussed, but my dad always wore. Yeah, it's a part of me.
You know what I'm saying? It's a part of what shaped you as well, which is why I wanted to touch on it a bit.
Yeah.
To this point, I did not know that you did not share something like that with a lot of people.
I don't know. I think it just doesn't come up. And maybe it depends. If I'm having that kind of, like, political conversation, it'll come up, and it's not something, like, obviously I'm proud of it. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people just aren't having those conversations either. Like, a lot of things are very superficial, surface level. Like, my close people may know that, but like, when you just meet somebody and it's casual, you all know that because of, like, the vibe you set and what you all do collectively, right? So it's easy to share, and, like, it's almost like they would be proud to hear this because the reaction I got from you all when I shared that, I felt like, oh. Yeah. But you don't, you know what I mean? Things are so politicized to it. It may be kind of scary. I'm not saying that that's been my reason, but, we live in this very controversial red and blue, world right now, or government. And so, like, is it okay to say,
Yeah, I don't know
what Black Lives Matter can get you in trouble. So is it okay to say,
Freedom of speech, huh?
appreciate what the Black Panthers did and what they stood for. So, but yeah, I'm not ashamed of it at all. It actually doesn't come up in conversation a lot, but I'm gonna try to embrace that more and share it with
You're welcome, man. I apologize.
No, thank you.
Does that work? Because it's gonna start coming up now. You know what I'm
I hope so.
You know, people that have known you, I'm sure there's other that have known you longer, may not have known that little tidbit of information. Sure. So it's just like you never know what comes out here on the patio. You know, and just come and grace us with your presence, and we gonna get into it, and we gonna deliver, receive. Just create a cycle. But as we create a cycle, you know what a cycle is, right?
A cycle?
Yeah. We got to go like this, right?
Bring it back?
Yeah. So we're going to go this way to the commercials.
Okay. That was nice.
The commercials is going to swing around back to you and back to me, and then we're going to be back into this conversation.
Okay.
The Patio PolitiCz. We'll be right back, y'all.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
Go to your question, sir.
I hope y'all wasn't rocking, because I wasn't rocking. You see me intently looking at this woman over here to the left of me. We were having a discussion through the commercial break, and about things being done and all that and everything, whatnot scenario. And we get to one little tidbit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fake wrestling?
It's not fake. It's not. You want me to body slam you right now, huh? Don't you? It's just.
Sir.
I still go for it. I mean, I'm down for a muscle mommy. Like, you can beat me up, but wrestling is not faked. It is scripted, like movies and everything else.
And reality TV.
TV, it's all scripted. It's here for our entertainment. It's all good. Now I'm about to sit you down for about 3 hours, and we're gonna watch some wrestling together. And you're gonna tell me how fascinated and interested you are by that.
But you know what? I do gravitate to things that people enjoy, and put on your best episode.
I got you.
A strong libation and a snack, and I will watch WWE.
But that's a good thing to know, good thing to hear. Shows that you're open and you're willing to try out new things. Why is that? What in this world gave you that type of spirit and outgoingness?
I think my adventurous curiosity came from, I want to say, my sister. Mm-hmm. I connect her directly with like traveling and just us kind of being out there and being fearless. Okay. My sister left home for college, so it was the first time I was without her. My sister and I grew up in the same household, so when she went to college, it was like, oh, okay, you could do that. I think, when you don't travel, the world is just where you are. Yeah,
it really is. You become a product of your environment because you don't know that there's more to life outside the world.
Exactly.
I used to tell all the homies on the block, they was like, they go Mac again. Where you going? It's the same place you could go if you just get it together, you know what I'm saying? You can just go. You know what I'm saying? You don't never tell me. I tell you, you just don't be getting you don't get it together when I get it together. Like, I'm quick to jump on a plane. Peace. Yeah. See you in 4 days. See you in a week. See you in 2 weeks. I just wrote a song called Vacation. It's talking about getting on a plane. Let's go, baby. Let's get out of here.
Right. It's so much to see.
And so much.
Flight away.
And I feel like once you get to start traveling, and I'm not talking state-wise, get out the country. Go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You'll start. Yeah, that culture, the difference in culture and that culture shock that you will receive, hopefully it'll have you looking at your life in a whole different light, whole different entirety. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of traveling, that's, coffee with Kassy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even drink coffee no more, but I'm about to drink some right here, right now.
That's the best. That's my thing. Wherever I go, coffee.
It used to be bad with coffee for me. I used to wake up in the morning, brew a whole pot with nowhere to go, and I would drink that pot.
Oh, No.
with nowhere to go.
Okay, but what coffee was it? Because if it was Folgers or...
Oh no! I was at that point in time. I was potting it up. So I had different flavors. I had all the creamers. Knowing I was lactose intolerant, I didn't care. I was living it up. I don't do it now. I'm actually interested in mushroom coffee now.
Yeah, I haven't tried this. I see it advertised.
Yeah, I saw quite a few of them at Mother's Market that I'm gonna grab probably like in the next week.
Okay,
so.
you'll tell me how it is.
Yeah.
I have not tried that yet.
I'll make you a batch.
I'm not opposed to it.
You'll tell yourself how it is and converse over.
Okay.
But traveling. That's the coffee part. What is it about traveling that you get a kick out of?
It gives me an appreciation for just creation. I like to take moments in the day to pause and appreciate something. So that's just my connection to, like, you know, God made this. The world is bigger than me. So, of course, connecting to people is one of my passions. But being somewhere else, it's like, this is just the other side of California. So if I'm on the East Coast, right, it's like, this is just the other side of the water. I just appreciate, because I'm a minimalist, like in terms of I don't need a lot to be happy, I appreciate just getting on a flight, going to see something different. I think because my mindset is not about like hoarding things and the tangibles, I like experiences. So I can just be somewhere and acknowledge that, like, we don't have this tree in California. Like, I'm that simple.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot for me, but especially being out of the country, right? Like, I'm like, the air is different, the food is different.
Yeah.
And I just grow an appreciation for, like, the expansiveness of our world and how I fit in it. Like, it
feels
cool.
different.
Yeah.
Like, just walking the road to just unfamiliar territory, and it's just like,
yeah,
it's fresh. Like, here in the city, you could be walking through a hood that you ain't never walked through or whatever, and you don't know it's a hood, but you still like, because you don't know what it is. But as you go out the state or out the country, shall I say, you're doing the same thing, but in a different light. It's like you're just looking around and taking it in, like, where am I?
I always say it's like your childish curiosity.
Yeah.
And it's innocent, right? Because you could be in the hood.
You could be in the most dangerous place.
I have been. I have some stories traveling as a woman solo where I'm like, that was very naive, KaSandre.
Yeah.
But I'm just there with my eyes open, giddy, right? You know, just taking it in. But, I mean, be safe.
I mean,
get your passport and be safe.
Thank the Most High that you came out safe from all of those situations. I had a situation where I almost ended up in a Mexican jail just because I looked like a drug lord from Cali.
You do. You know what it is? The hair.
I didn't even have the hair then.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have the hair
You are a black
yet.
man.
Yeah.
So
I had on loafers. It was a time. It was a day.
I get stopped 7 times out of 10, and my hair is patted down.
Yeah.
The downside of the locks.
I probably shouldn't have been walking the back streets of Mexico anyway, looking for fun, but
True.
It's neither here or say. Where's somewhere that you've been on this world that's just every time you go there, it's just like it says your name, like KaSandre.
I haven't really revisited countries outside of Mexico, just going there because it's close, a nice vacation. But the one place that's been most impactful was Ghana. And that's just because in hindsight, looking at it, studying abroad there, but, you know, being an adult now who can really absorb with maturity what that meant to be. Actually, I was 20 and I had my 25th birthday in Ghana. It's like I lived in Africa.
Yeah.
Like I lived on the continent where it all began. I got to be with a culture that I'll never get to experience in that way, right? Because at what other time in your life do you just uproot and go live somewhere else? I mean, people do it all the time, but when you get a career and get settled, it's a lot more difficult. So to have the bravery at the time to just say, like, out of all the countries I could have gone to, that would have been way more physically comfortable in terms of like consistent running hot water, electricity. You know, I set myself up to be challenged, but I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
and
it's the life.
I can remember some things like that happened yesterday, and I'm 37 now, so that was 2021, and I'm like, I will never forget. First of all, the friendships I made that I still have, the girlfriends I made there. We try to get together annually, and we all like grew up together. Imagine just bringing young black girls from LA to Ghana, and we're just there like, all right, we're doing this.
Okay. I trust you. So for all the men out there, I'm going to ask you, what is girls trip all about? Is there a such thing as a safe girls trip from our standpoint? Because when we hear y'all going on girls trip, you know, sometimes it's just like,
What?
What y'all doing? Where y'all going?
Just having
Where y'all
fun.
at? What y'all,
It's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm just kidding.
I just-
My girls' trips are about like very close to 40 things. So
Okay.
we're like, you know,
Okay.
we're getting massages, we're
Okay.
eating well,
Yeah.
we spare no expense. That's
Yeah.
the kind of vacation
Yeah.
we're doing.
We're
now.
enjoying.
We're
Got it.
enjoying.
Yeah.
But I can't speak for
So
some
it's
of these
it's
other
safe
people.
now. It's an
safe.
age bracket to safeness, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you ask a woman
Okay.
in her 20s
Okay.
what
I would
that
never.
girl's trip is
I
about.
would never. I could never. I've been on the other side
You
of those
might get a
girls'
different
trips.
answer.
I know what they're about.
Speaking for those mature ladies in the house,
Yeah.
our trips are a
Yeah.
little more contained.
Okay.
We're working
okay.
hard, so when we
Okay.
taking trips now, we're relaxing.
Yeah.
You know, we're exploring, but we're yeah.
How long? How long is a good trip? 4 days, 5, 7, 2 weeks, a month?
Ooh. I think anytime I'm getting on a flight and I'm out of the country, you need at least.
It's got to be
you need at
7
least-
minimum.
Yeah, well, it depends because then we got to consider Mexico's out of the country, and I don't need. I can do a quick little relaxation Mexico, come back.
3 day.
But if I'm crossing New York, like we going far, like we doing 7.
Yeah.
And there's certain
minimum.
places, it depends on what's there too. Because as much as I'm not into all the tourist attractions, there's no way I'm gonna go to, Rome or Italy and not stop at
Yeah.
these historic sites. But I'm also like, I need to go over there. I need to get on a train or a bus and get out of this. So you do need more than like 7 days out of the country. So it
Yeah.
depends. But
Depending on what country you go to.
exactly.
On top of that. too.
Yeah. I think I've never been in one country for 2 weeks. I mean, I lived obviously in Ghana, but outside of residing somewhere, I've never vacationed in one place for 2 weeks.
So
I almost feel like that would be too long for me because I am kind of like an anxious
get
busybody.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks sounds like I've never done I've never done 2 weeks anywhere. I've done a week and a half though in France. I spent half the time in Conde d'Azur, the other half in Paris. So I've done that, but I don't think I've spent 2 weeks anywhere.
Okay. Now, how did you? I mean, this is your interview, but I just have to ask you since we're on the topic. How did you feel as a black man in Paris?
I cried. It was my first plane ride anywhere, and I paid for it.
So your first time getting on a plane
Yeah,
was
to France.
okay.
Straight flight, no connector. I paid for it. I was going to go visit the lady that I was dating and in a relationship with. She was teaching and TAing out there.
Okay.
So that's what that trip was all
What a
about.
leap.
But I went out there to save a relationship that I came back home and left
Oh wow.
from because of the conversations that were had and the things that were taking place. But yeah, my first time on an airplane was to France.
Did you feel like you fit in culturally? Like I know you weren't there an extremely long time, but did you feel comfortable?
At that age, I just took it in.
Okay.
There was nothing else that I could do. I cried already because it's just like, here I am. At that point in time, nobody else in my family had been on an airplane to go out of the country. And I'm, at the time, 20, 21 maybe? Something around that area?
In France.
In France. Nigga,
Huge.
really a nigga in
In
Paris.
Paris.
You know what I'm saying? Before it even came out, went and did all the sightseeing, the Louvre and the museums and stuff.
Yeah.
Ate like how they had me escargot. You know what I'm saying?
Baguettes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. That's not how French people talk.
I had everything. It was an experience though, but it's definitely somewhere that I have to go back to and revisit in a different mindset and a different light. Because I actually had fun for that experience. It's crazy.
Okay.
Crazy. And that just set me off. I was just like, oh, it's time to go.
time to go.
It wasn't my first time going somewhere because I went to Ensenada when I was 18, but that's Ensenada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It
So-
does something when you get on a plane and you're somewhere else and people know you're American or something, just to feel that too. Feel what it's like to not be a citizen of that country.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm sorry. But yeah. We gotta go. But we are going to come back because I'm not finished with my coffee. I am not finished with Kassy. We are not finished. She is not finished. We're gonna be back after these commercials. Stay tuned.
A culmination of powerful properties that create balance and produce good energy. Cultivating a culture of mindfulness is a daily battle. We target your inner me. Physiological effects, change you can truly feel. Aesthetically pleasing on the surface, but handmade to help you heal, 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 heal.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
You are not going to get me in trouble, Miss KaSandre.
With what?
You're an actress. You're also a social worker. I want to touch on a social worker real quick before we move on to this actress work. Has any of your trips been involved with being a social worker?
No.
No?
Not work-wise, no. I don't travel for work or anything, so no.
All the work is done here.
All my work is done here.
Why
remotely.
Why social worker?
I had this idea that I would initially go into social work to support juveniles, young adults, like that kind of what I thought was the forgotten group. Because I feel like there's a lot of emphasis and money and push toward, 0 to 5 and just young kids, elementary. And then in our community, you see so much neglect in those, like after middle school, or it's like the government has determined at a certain age, like these are the lost. This is the pipeline to prison. And so I had this passion early on to want to work with, young kids, post elementary school, middle school, high school that didn't get as much attention. And then I got exposure to that world. And I'll be honest, I was like, this is a lot for me, knowing that I'm very emotional. And connected to people's stories, that if I couldn't find the balance, I can't save everybody. And so after working in the field for a little while, I went back to school, and it was when I realized you could be a social worker, but you can focus on policy. So that's where I wind up taking my career. So I'm not the social worker in the traditional
Not
aspect.
as much emotion.
Yeah, when people think about the face-to-face and therapy, I trained in all that, but my expertise is in like policy analysis and reframing structures and organizations so that they are more socially sound to fit their environment. So I've done like assessments of organizations to make sure what they say they want to do for a community is what they're doing, as opposed to being the direct connect. Got you.
How long did it take for you to gravitate to that department, to like, okay, this is where I want to be?
About a year. It took one class.
Okay.
It took one class. And it wasn't the professor so much. It was me not even knowing this was an avenue. I compare it to having a friend who was like, I want to be a lawyer. And then they go to law school and they realize, oh, you could do entertainment, you could do contracts. Like they just thought they would be litigating. And it was like, then they realized there were other avenues. So similar. I love sharing this part because like a lot of people do think social work is just sitting or taking kids from homes, and then you go to school for it and you realize social work is behind a lot of stuff,
so much more
that we never even think about, and so much was behind policy. Social work is really, policy is driven by social work, community organizing and social work. So when I took this class about all these things that came about for children based on social workers who went into politics, not because they want to be politicians, but because they were like, oh, we have to help with legislation that then determines what happens down here in my community. I was sold. Wrote papers about it, learned the history of like how social workers impacted things politically, and I was like, oh yeah. So then interned with some politicians, and then just my career has taken its own path that was very much surprising to me, but it's been cool.
So your role in the council too was a seamless transition of sorts then?
A little bit. I'm very comfortable in the leadership, political, the demeanor of like, that person that has to be in the lead, in the front, or even supporting, I guess. But I would say like speaking of the council, Emma was very much like had a demand of who she was, but stayed in her lane. And I feel like that's me. Like the older I get, I realize like where my strengths are, and I'm comfortable being in my lane and excelling in that, as opposed to just, when you're figuring yourself out, you're kind of doing everything. When I found my lane, I just stuck with it, and you thrive in it when you know. But it takes a while. You have to try stuff. You have to not necessarily fail, but you have to just go through some hurdles, and they all lead you to what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So social work is what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, it's what I'm doing.
It's what you're doing.
It's what I do.
Yeah.
I have a shirt that says Jesus was a social worker.
I'm
like, when you think about it.
Yeah. To be honest, like he people call him a carpenter.
With the people that other people don't want to touch, I'm like, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. So to then take that, it's over here, and then over here, you got being an actress. How did that come about?
That's something. So acting was like just like you, I think, right? We talked about, like, you know who you are. You have this personality that's just like anyone's going to gravitate towards you because you are a light, like you are. I think I've always had this personality similar to where I'm like, people are always like, oh, she talks a lot. You know, it's like you like it or love it. But I've always been the person in the classroom as a kid who's like, hey, you know, like just, I see the kid that's down and I want to like talk to them. I've always had this personality of engaging, being extrovert. And I remember telling my dad when I was younger, like, I want to act. But you realize as an actress now, as an adult, like you're an entrepreneur. You're financing this career until you get some money and some residual, but it really is you investing in yourself. And at the time, that just wasn't feasible for my family. So as much as it was a passion, there was no money to send me to acting school and do all these things. So it took some trials. What led me to jumping into it was just a heartache where I wasn't really supported in that relationship. And I was pretty much told, like, you're too old to act.
That sucks.
Not that directly, but you know, like,
should have been. It felt like it was that.
Oh
direct.
yeah, it was a dig. And then became, well, I'm out of this relationship, and for so long I suppressed this thing that I've always wanted to do, and now I have the money to finance this myself. You know, do all the things, the classes, the headshots. And it was really proving it to myself that, like, that little devil that said it's too late, it was like, it's never too late. Because if God put a seed in you, you know, we stick to these time frames, but the reality is, like, it'll mature when it's supposed to.
Just got to get around the right water,
right,
the right sunlight.
Right.
You know
I wasn't planted in the right soil. When I was uprooted in my happy place, God just started pouring, and I've been attracted to so many things that have been so positive that God is aligning me that you know, the nuggets and reminders that I'm on the right track. Yeah.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Likewise.
You're amazing. Thank you. Bioluminescence, or did I say that right? Bioluminescence.
Bioluminescent?
There you go. Yeah.
See, teamwork. I was like, I'm gonna let you struggle with it, but I knew I was gonna help you. But that's how we help people. You let them kind of, and then you like, I got you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then in Spanish, it's bioluminescent. Bioluminescent.
I had a good friend of Rider for Life and a good friend of the team and everything tell me that's what I was. And obviously at that time, that was something that I was very unfamiliar with. So after that phone call, shout outs to Al. After that phone call, I had to deep dive into that to see what that was. And I was just like, oh, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. You share that of the same glow, shall I say. Favorite actress?
My favorite actress, it has varied, but in this moment, it is the one and only Viola Davis. Now, when I was in high school, it was Sanaa Lathan.
Okay. Why?
I just couldn't stop following her.
Was it love and basketball?
Of course it was. Jeez. But I'm okay with that.
Play you for your heart?
No, it wasn't about that.
Okay.
I was wearing cornrows. She had me in cornrows, basketball shorts, and white beaters at school.
You were not on the court though, were you?
And I was not on the court.
Okay,
it's the funnier, but that's the funnier part. I wasn't even playing basketball. I was just like, I want to look like Sanaa Lathan.
It's actress early.
I was
playing a role.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll take that. Anything you got coming up, you know what I'm saying? Recent
coming up, well, when the council is finished, that will be out. I have been trying to make sure I'm more aligned with what I'm auditioning for. I do have some auditions coming up, and one I'm really excited about, so I can keep you posted on how that plays out.
Yes.
But right now I'm being very strategic about what I do and make sure I'm aligning myself with something that feels right, with the right people. Because you can do any kind of work, but if it's not with the right people, it doesn't have a purpose. I was doing a lot.
Yeah. Does that come with working with the wrong people?
Yeah, because when you work with the right people, it feels right. And so you're like, I would hope that I can mimic this energy everywhere. And that may not, doesn't mean it's the same, but just the positive, everyone's showing up because they have a passion and not because there is a check. Because I've done a few things that were like, oh, this is a good check, I'm going to do it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I avoided this, Just being demeaned and being like, being treated like you're needed over. It's like, I'm a human being. So after jumping in the game strong and studying scripts until 3 a.m. and still clocking in for my job at 7 a.m., I learned some hard lessons. I was like, God is calling you to something, but he's not like, this took a while to grow or water. So don't just dive in here and just say yes to everything. Yeah. So,
value.
Being more strategic. Yeah.
Got to treat your value with respect, man.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Hey y'all, I'm back. I don't know where I've been for this past hour, but you know, I've been somewhere, you know what I'm saying? But it's been a wonderful, 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 wonderful conversation. KaSandre, if there's any words of light and wisdom that you could give those that are watching and listening on the other side, what would those words of light and wisdom be?
My words, just without thinking too hard, my words of light and wisdom would be, know that you're valued, you matter, you have a purpose. Spend time with yourself and tap into it. And once you do, you're going to thrive.
You're going to thrive. Where can they follow you at on social media?
I am on Instagram. I'm kind of a newbie to Instagram. I know that's weird. I mean, like, since I started acting, that's what propelled me to create an IG page, but I was kind of anti-social media.
Gotcha. I feel it.
But it is my name, KaSandre L. Kirby, KaSandrelKirby. And then on Facebook, I am KaSandre Kirby.
That is the show. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Y'all click every link that's available. Shout out to all the sponsors. Make sure y'all liking, subscribing. You hit that notification bell. You keep the conversation going in the comments section. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. This is where you will be, because this is where we will be. You know, you shall see. Every last Thursday of the month, we get a little dirty, you know, on the little talking dirty after dark tip. You got to come back for one of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets wild. It gets wild. You said you've been watching, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was today what you thought it was going to be?
It was comfortable. So yeah, I expected that. Whenever I'm with you all, it's comfortable.
That's appreciated.
I just didn't know where we but I'm ready for anything. You could ask me something crazy.
The real show is about to start now, you guys. Thank you for
the
watching.
After party.
For tapping in. KaSandre has been lovely.
Likewise.
You guys, it's been lovely. Appreciate you. King Mac Millie, KaSandre Kirby. We out live.
We don't do trends, we trendsetters.